Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Stormworks. We are back working on our oil rig, and we're just going to do a little bit of kind of detailing all around the oil rig today. What I am doing right now is I'm adding a nice little flagpole. The flags and the sails just came out, so I figured this would be a nice time to add one. So we're going to go with that for now. If we don't like how it looks, we can always change it later, but I thought that would be a fun little addition now that we have them. But anyways, we are going to get back to kind of detailing the interior, or not really interior space of the oil rig. But yeah, we're just going to start right in this little kind of awning room. I don't know what you would want to call it, but it's kind of like a service area for our camera that can go and look at our wellhead. Right here, I'm adding a kind of intercom system. And so this way you will be able to talk to the bridge or the control room from down there. Now, I mentioned this in the last episode, so that is something that we will be working on in today's episode. We're going to add a couple intercom systems around the ship just so the bridge can stay in contact with every other area, kind of like the important areas of the ship, like the control room, that kind of thing. So pretty simple. It's not going to be anything complicated. They're not going to be custom channels or anything. It's just going to be excuse me, it's just going to be like kind of a simple push to talks. So you should be able to talk to the bridge or the control room or the camera, all of that kind of good stuff. So we'll get into that. That's kind of what I'm setting up in the background. But for the most part today, we are going to work on the room that we were just down in, if you want to call it a room. I don't really know what you want to call it, but where the camera is. And then we are going to go over across the little walkway, hallway, again, whatever you want to call it, into that room that we talked about turning into the machine shop. And we're going to work on that today too. So we're going to try to get a lot of that building done, and then that leaves us with just a few more things to do on the interior. We got to go finish up the server room in the back of the oil rig, and then we have to finish the floor below, and then I need to kind of go test it. I have to test it for sure. Actually, I haven't really used this in a while, so I just want to make sure that it's still functioning. But anyways, I'm blabbering on about where I'm just adding this wall right next to where the captain or the helmsman sits, and that's going to be for all of our radios for the intercom. So that will be a simple spot that is pretty central to, you know, where the oil rig is being controlled from, where people can go over and talk to other spots on the oil rig on the deck, and that just makes communication a little bit easier for us. So I thought it would just be a nice, simple, fun feature to add. That's why it's here. So we're just going to get this all hooked up right now. I'm not going to really change how this looks from here. So I plan on having 3 of them. So this should be enough. I don't think anything more than that is really necessary. It's not that big of an oil rig. So we're just going to start hooking this up slowly. And like I said earlier, we are going to, then we'll get into kind of the machine shop and start doing that. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. We've got quite a bit to do. And for that, I have been talking a little bit more in the episodes, but because of that, I'm going to let the time lapse roll just a little bit. So guys, do expect a little bit longer of an episode in this one. And again, it's not going to be really pointed. We're just kind of, decorating it about trying to get this thing finished up a little bit. There's kind of some areas that are not really decorated super well, or they haven't really gotten any attention. So that's what we're really going to sort out in today's episode. But anyways, yeah, if you guys like this series, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to quit blabbering on about now, and I'm just going to throw on the time lapse for a little bit. And once it's done, we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about what we built, and then maybe some more of the things that we plan on building and or that we need to build. All right, well, we got this lower area mostly decorated up. I think it's looking much better than it was, at least. So we can at least kind of check this off. Might come back, maybe give it a little bit more detailing, a little bit more attention. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it is right now. So more or less, we'll probably end up just keeping it. But right now, that is just about now the cue for us going into the machine shop. So we are going to do the machine shop, and I'm not going to special build all these machines. I'm not going to do, one-offs of everything. I'm going to copy and paste one from a lot of my other ships. So if you guys want to do that, feel free to do that. I have a lot of machine shops in my ships. The one that I copy and paste is the one from the ship called the Sedna. It's on my workshop. I actually really like that ship, but the reason I copy and pasted that one and saved it is just because it's rather compact. So, it's pretty easy to kind of squeeze into the creation while you copy and paste the machines in. There's a lot of paint blocks, that kind of thing too. So that's what I plan on doing. Now we are going to add, a little bit of attention to other things too. But for the most part, yeah, I'm going to just copy and paste a lot of the machines. They don't need to be overly complex. They can't really do anything in the game anyways, which I would love if you could actually like repair and replace blocks. But I just don't really think it's in this game's wheelhouse. But anyways, the first thing that I'm going to try to sort out is some storage. So this room is kind of small and really awkward shaped, so we're going to have to make it really, really cramped. But what I wanted to do was, if you've ever been in a machine shop, a lot of times they kind of have wall hangers for pipes and tubes and that kind of thing. So you're on an oil rig, of course there's going to be a lot of pipes and tubes all over. So that's the first thing I wanted to do, especially because it is kind of space consuming. And so I wanted to make sure that we had this kind of thought out before we started putting machines everywhere. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to put a little window on that back wall too, to make loading material into this tiny room a little easier. And then we're just going to go with the classic machines that I usually put into these rooms, which is going to be a drill press and a lathe. Then there's going to be a bench vise and a couple like painted hand tools, that kind of thing. Right now I'm just trying to kind of give the pipes a little bit of detail. I'm trying to make them look a little mill scaly, if that makes sense. A lot of times when you just leave pipes there to store, obviously they're going to oxidize and kind of get a little cruddy, messy, which is fine. You just got to clean them up a little bit before you go to use them. So yeah, I'm just trying to paint them up a little bit, add a little bit of variation to the texture with that one to make them look a little bit nicer. But yeah, that's kind of the game plan. When you walk into the this machine shop, really it's just going to be kind of like a roundabout. So there's just going to be a table in the middle, and then there's going to be a couple machines on the walls that you can kind of go around. And I'm going to try to put, obviously a lot of like storage and shelves and cabinetry in that kind of thing. But this back wall, it's really too small of a space to cram anything useful. So I'm just going to put, a bunch of storage back here. So this green thing, it's just going to be kind of like a parts bin. And so I'm just going to throw a bunch of random junk in it. And then we're going to throw another green bin right next to it. And you can say that that's for like scrap or something like that, So that's kind of the game plan for this. We are just going to place a bunch of different blocks. This room is really only for aesthetics. So pretty much everything we do in here is just going to be for fun, and it doesn't really matter. So as long as it looks good, that's kind of what we're going for. Now, I wanted to make this a lot more detailed, but the space was just kind of too limiting for us. So we, we're just going to do our best. And, maybe I really like doing machine shops, and I thought it was going to be a fun little project. Now, if I had a lot more space, I would go probably a little crazy with it, with a lot of HVAC stuff, of course, a lot of piping. But we don't. So maybe I'll just, start making like decoration packs or something like that. If you guys would be interested in me making like prop packs for the inside of your vehicles, let me know. And maybe we can just, do a video or two of us throwing a couple of those together, and I can get them on the workshop quick. But other than that, yeah, I think, this is going to be Just fine. It's kind of small. I'm gonna add a few windows. I'm concerned about it being a little dark here, but I don't want to consume too much of our wall space because it is valuable to hang things on. And again, it's a small space, so we got to use it up and we got to use it efficiently. First thing I want to do before we get any more machines in here, or before we start placing machines in here, is get some safety equipment. So definitely get a first aid kit, get a fire extinguisher, that kind of thing, and then I'm gonna paint some lines on the wall or on the floor there, just like the rest of the ship for evacuation. But here it is. This is the workshop that I just copy and pasted from my other ship. Again, you guys are more than welcome to take any of this, use it in your own ships. You don't have to credit me, nothing. But yeah, that's kind of the machines that we are going to be copy and pasting in. So we have a drill, or not a drill press, this is a lathe, and we're just going to find a good spot to put it. Now, this is going to be one of the bigger parts that we have in here, so I'm going to start with this first, but I think right here is a pretty good spot for it. So I'm just going to fill this out a little, bring it closer, or bring it all the way to the wall to make sure it looks like it fits correctly. And I'm going to do a couple subtle modifications to this just to make it look a little bit better. I'm going to put a track there. And let's paint this back wall to make sure it matches. And there we go. Good enough. I think that is plenty enough for the lathe. We don't have to get crazier than that. I don't need to spend any time doing XML or anything like that either. Good enough. So we're going to move on. This is the drill press now. We're going to make a couple modifications to this one too. Just some ideas I've had or some inspirations, seeing some other stuff that other people have done. But I think right here will be a good spot for this. And I know they're all kind of close, but this was the modification I wanted to make. I think this crank handle looks way better than the transponders I had. It looks way more realistic, but we'll get that added, painted up. I'm just going to curve around this table. It's just going to be this small little table. And then I'm going to put a pipe in the center so it looks like there's a little hole for the drill bit to go through. And then we're just going to look like this is a little bit heavier duty, maybe bolted to the floor, something like that. I just want to, add some subtle detailing, nothing crazy. So we're going to maybe round these corners off, make it look like maybe it's bolted to the ground or something like that. But yeah, other than that, we just got to add a lot of cabinet space. I do want to see if we can get a welding table in here. If we have enough room, I definitely want to cram a welding table in here. That would make a lot of sense with the kind of application that these guys are using the machine shop for. But yeah, we're gonna go a little crazy with the cabinets now, and we're gonna start really filling this room out. So I'm gonna throw some cabinets right above the lathe. Probably not the best place for them, but we're going to even block the window a little bit. But I'm going to do this on purpose. I want it to look cramped in here. I want it to look like, they're making the most out of the space that they have, which is, kind of true for a lot of marine applications. When you're doing stuff like this, you got to make sure that you are using all of the space that you have. So we are going to really focus on cramming it up in this machine shop, and I think that these cabinets will really help. Now I'm going to place a couple of these on the back wall. I think they look okay, but I'm going to actually change those out for equipment later, just because I think it'll be a little bit more useful for you guys playing with the creation in the long run. And those cabinets are kind of out of the way. Now, I realized I had symmetry mode on. If you guys are keen, you might have noticed that I left that on. So I'm going to leave this in, just a simple mistake. So I've got to kind of fix all of this paint and make sure I clean up my mess. But that's fine. That's funny. If you play this game, I'm sure this has happened to you. This has happened to all of us. And I've been playing this game for years and years and years, and I still make this mistake. So kind of funny. Not too bad of a mess that we made, so we'll just clean it up quick and we'll head back over to the machine shop and let's see what else we can get pasted in here. Now I want to get a really, really long table on this wall to kind of just act as like a workspace. So that's what we're going to do, and then I'm going to fill it out a little bit more with obviously some more cabinets, props, that kind of thing. So first order of business is we got to make this window smaller. I know I said I was concerned about light, but it is a workspace, so it's not the biggest concern to make sure that we have a window. As long as it has lights inside and it's well lit up, that's all that really matters. So let's get our bench vise down, a very underrated and necessary tool. And then let's just see if we can, copy and paste like this pegboard or something like that and just start filling out this wall a little bit. Now for fun, I do think that I want to make a couple fake generators and put them underneath the cabinet down there, or underneath the countertop down there. I think that that would be like a fun little prop, so we'll definitely work on that a little bit too. I am just cleaning up this pegboard a little bit. Let me make sure that all of that is painted correctly, and we'll fix our med kits quick. But yeah, that's kind of the layout that we're going to go for. So I'm not going to change this too much more, and I think we can get rid of the machine shop. We don't really need any more props from that. Now I am going to try to add a light on in here, and then we can, maybe we'll spawn it in and check it out. But this is something that we're going to have to add anyways, and I want to do it now before we get too cramped. And we're just going to place a couple light bulbs in here, maybe make one of them dingy or something like that, just to spruce it up, add a little bit of variation. But yeah, again, we're not going for anything too complicated in here. This is just a dingy little machine shop. That's all it's going to do. And again, there's nothing that, in Stormworks that you really can do with this. So it's just here for the aesthetics. And, it's something that I think is fun to do. I always have fun building these, which it's, again, completely unnecessary. But those are the type of things that I always enjoy the most playing this game. So we're working on the underside here, and I am going to just start placing some more cabinets. Now, I think this wall, this little ledge here by the door is a little ugly, so I'm trying to hide it a little bit with the cabinets here, and I think that looks decent enough. So maybe we will kind of copy and paste this down with the overhead cabinets. And then, like I said, we will get the generators underneath the countertop here. And I think that that will kind of make it look nice and full and basically good enough. So, again, we're not going for perfection here. It's just good enough. If you guys want me to make a prop pack or something like that, maybe I'll spend a couple hours and try to make an actual like little spawnable machine shop that you guys can just steal stuff from. I think that that would be fun. But yeah, just let me know down below, and I'm open to doing something like that. I just need to know. So but yeah, that would be a fun little build. I do enjoy doing these kind of things. Now I'm gonna just to add a little bit of variation, add a different type of shelf right here. So we're just gonna go in with the windows and add a couple of little transparent shelves here just to break these cabinets up a little bit. I think that'll look pretty nice. So yeah, I think that this is kind of the vibe we're going for. It's not going to change too much, like I said, and I'm just trying to fill this wall up, make it look a little bit more useful. I'm going to paint the floor up a little bit too. I want to paint around the machines this yellow paint just as kind of like a cautionary warning. And yeah, but that's pretty much all for the layout that we're going to do. Like I said, I'm going to see if I can try to cram a welding table in here. I'm a big fan of those, or a fixture table if you don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, they're like this big super flat table that has all of these holes that are pretty precisely drilled out, and it allows you to mount things to the table while you weld them or mock them up. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this machine shop. I know I keep saying that. I'm gonna change the backdrop there a little bit. I think it'll look a little nice. And I also played around with the idea of maybe adding some hooks up there, but I didn't really like it. I'm just gonna add another light over here. We're gonna make it pretty dim, this one, and then I'm just gonna add a separate light switch for it, just so people have like a work light. And yeah. But let's get all of that hooked up. We're just going to hook it up to the same switch, and it doesn't really matter. I don't really love where that button looks, or where that button is, but it's fine. I just wanted to have like a secondary light over the vise. Now we can get in here with a little bit more paint block detailing. I'm going to try to add like an outlet So we're going to add a few outlets on this back wall just in case you need to plug in like a power tool or something like that. Who knows? Always useful to have in like a workshop. So that's what these are supposed to be. Now they're yellow just to mark them out, make them a little bit more obvious. But yeah, this is coming along quite nicely in my mind. I'm going to also add a little cable hookup right there too. So just in case you guys need to charge anything, I don't know what in here you would possibly need to charge, but yeah, that's all right. It adds the aesthetic of the whole thing, and I like it. I think it's useful. Well, not really useful, but it kind of looks cool. So enough of that. We're finally going to move on to this table, and I'm just going to take these Omni pipes and we are going to just place them down. So we're just trying to get this grid of holes, and that will kind of simulate what we're trying to go for the fixture table well enough. I don't need to go any crazier than that. I think I might put like a clamp down, something like that. Like that looks fine. Just leave a clamp down. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the props we're going to add in here. I'm going to, obviously I'm going to play around with layout a little bit, as in with this table. I would like to make this table a little bit bigger, but you do need to get back into the storage area and to the vise. So that is kind of the concern. So trying to find a place to place this table specifically was a little bit tricky. I'm going to extend it one more block, and then hopefully we can get a couple welders onto this table. And then finally we'll get on over to these generators. So over in this cavity that I left open in the underneath the countertop, this is where these generators are going to go. So we're not going to go crazy with these. They're not generators, welders. They're just gonna be fake little portable welders. So that's all we're going for here. They're not going to be anything fancy. And yeah, we're just going to maybe get 2 of these and just paste them down, and we'll just call it good from there. So I think this is a nice little machine shop, and I hope you guys also enjoyed it. Now, this is pretty much all of the building that we're going to do in this episode, so I know this one was a little bit longer. If you guys stayed till the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It really helps the channel out. Now, this is one step closer to being done, so we're getting there. Slowly, we're getting there. We like I said earlier, we have to do the server room and then finish up the main floor, and then maybe just do another last sweep of the entire oil rig. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Like I said, if you stay to the end, I appreciate it so much. If you guys like this series, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.